Well, it was a much more conservative effort. I think there were some more checkdowns, some more safe decisions being made by Caleb Williams. It resulted in his best passer rating yet. Tim, how do you stack this one up on the evolutionary curve for his game?
I mixed reviews. I enjoyed some of it, right? I think there was a lot more boring tape, which to me is exciting, right? I think we talked about it last week a little bit with the drive starters. Hey, that 1st and 10 call, what are we doing? You saw them getting a lot of empty, get the ball out of his hand quick, hey, throw to DJ Moore here, dump it down to Komet, which I thought was really good, right? You started the offense moving their feet forward. Me and Shane are still, I guess, just going to go at each other all year over the third down screen to Komet. We're going to keep throwing it. And I'm going to keep opening up every video with how atrocious of a call it is. So we'll do that the whole year. And
Whoa,
then
whoa, whoa, whoa,
we'll
whoa, 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 whoa,
also
whoa! Maybe you won't. He's shown a willingness to listen. If players go to him and talk to him about it, I mean, we're getting a balance of look. Shane's got to listen to what we're doing, and he calls the plays. We execute the plays. Why are you so big on getting that out of the playbook?
I just hate the call. I just think we have so many better players for that spot. My thing is too, is I feel like of all the guys that kind of break down the tape for the Bears, I feel like I'm the most on the Komet train. Like I enjoy watching Komet. I think Komet's a good tight end. Everybody else is like out on Komet, and then I'm the one sitting here being like, hey, I like the player, but we can't throw a screen to him on third down. What's funny is they almost picked it up, right? So I do think they're going to throw it 16 more times. I think they're going to do that to try to stick it to me. I think they're going to convert one of them.
Okay.
What I will tell you, though, is I think the best thing I could say about Waldron, and, all jokes aside about the third down screens, the fact that you saw the Bears get into 23 personnel, right? 2 backs, 3 tight ends, and pound it at the goal line, under center, run just like traditional. Hey, we're going to pull somebody. We're going to run power. That was the most exciting thing, because that's like, hey, man, you go from we were 4 times running in the shotgun. We went 0 for 4 in capping it with speed option with our number 1 overall pick, to we got into 23 and we really ran it down their throat. And guess what? It was a touchdown on first down. To me, that is actual growth compared to what we've seen, Bears OCs do in the past. So I was excited to see that. And then I'll continue to harp on the Komet third down screen.
It seems like there is a growth process and it's hand in hand between the offensive coordinator and the quarterback. How are you measuring the progress of each, and how intertwined are they really when you get down to brass tacks?
Man, that's such a great question. So how intertwined are they? I'd like to start there if we can. So I think they're very intertwined in terms of Waldron has to continue to try things to see what's going to help his young quarterback be successful early. And then, Kayla, and he has to continue to try stuff. So, for example, I don't know, last week we talked through this and you guys were like, hey, kind of what would you do? And I was like, hey, I'd turn my back to the line of scrimmage, right? And I'd call more shot plays. Shoot, they did 5 of them. And I'm going to be honest with you, Caleb didn't see it well. So, to me, it was like we had some open runners that it's like, shoot, man, if we let that thing go, it's a touchdown. Caleb checks it down. And I know a lot of people are celebrating that right now of like, oh, look, it's growth and him not trying to force the ball down the field. Not taking a shot that's open isn't growth. Just because we wanted him to check it down 2 weeks ago doesn't mean now any check down is a good play, right? That's not how this works. If we have an open runner on a shot play, we want to throw the shot. So to me, it's like, that was kind of where my instinct was, is, hey, let's turn his back to the line of scrimmage. Let's try to clear it up a little bit with his line of sight. Hey, you've got one spot to go after you come out of the fake. Go look at it. He didn't do that well. So now, okay, what's next? Let's put him back in the gun as we do these shots. And Waldron did that later in the game. They bumped him back in the gun. The play action was in front of him where his eyes were up and he was more used to it, like in college. And the kid did well with it. So to me, it's like, what I believe an OC's job is with a young quarterback is, hey, we've got to try a bunch of things and kind of see what this kid can do. What, hey, let's throw a bunch of, more or less throw it at the wall and see what sticks. From there, right, then you really adjust it. So to me, it's like there was some stuff that I was even calling for. They tried it.
Like what?
I don't know if you want to get back to it too early right now.
Like what?
That turning your back to the line of scrimmage. I honestly think that's one thing where now part of me is thinking, maybe it's more of a gun we're riding in front of us as we let this unfold. And then, you know, hey, instead of 5 where we turn our back, let's do 2 where we turn our back. I do think the Lions last night really showed you kind of like the absolute best case scenario you can be from a run and play action team. And I don't think that's Caleb, right? I think Caleb's high end ability is much higher than Goff's, in my opinion. Now, Goff is obviously playing at a higher level today, but so, you know, to me, it's like, I think dress some of those same concepts up, but with the play action in front, in the gun. I still think give him 1 or 2 a game, because I think you've got to be able to do that to make a run down the stretch for this Bears team. But I do think those drive starters that they started doing, where it's, hey, you know, let's empty the box, let's throw some quick game, or let's get the ball out of his hand. Those are here to stay. He did a great job with that. I think I'd reload those going in next week. I'd kind of adjust the play action, run action to more of a gun look. It's
interesting because the way you describe the intertwine, I like the idea of trying new things, seeing what you're good at, dialing it back. Now, is it more of a, because it's his rookie year that you're saying this, or are you saying as we get to the back half of the season, you expect them to have settled into all the things he's doing, or will they still be trying new things? I'm trying to follow the evolution of a new offensive coordinator and a rookie quarterback. So that's why I'm asking this follow-up.
Yeah, it's another great point. And let me answer that with kind of 2 separate answers. Yes, my expectation would be that all these are reintroduced towards the back half of the season. And I want a big caveat to be, unless we're in the midst of a divisional chase, right? Like if it's like, hey, we got a real shot, to me, it's like, hey, if Caleb's struggling with turning his back to the line of scrimmage on play action, we ain't doing it at all, right? Because let's not put our defense in a bad spot. Let's not put special teams. And I know people hear that and they think, oh man, but don't we want to develop this kid? What I'll tell you is the live bullets alone will help development. What you can't articulate, what I can't articulate is what happens in an NFL offseason, right? So it's like, I think these reps this year are great. I'm not trying to criticize the reps. Live reps will always mean more. With that being said, I don't think him running, if the difference between us being in a competitive football game is he runs 3 less turn his back shot plays each game, those 30 reps aren't as meaningful as what he's going to go through with a full off season, where instead of getting ready for the underwear Olympics and his pro day, he's getting ready to actually play quarterback for the Bears. Like those are 2 different off seasons, right? Your jump from college to the NFL, where it's like, you know, I could be genuine 100% with you guys. When I did my training to get ready to go and run at the combine and do all this stuff, that was the most running I've ever done in my entire life. It had no translation to like what I then was asked to do. So it's like all this stuff we do getting ready for our rookie year is almost meaningless. And that's why you see those big sophomore jumps and junior jumps from these guys like Caleb, who I think can process the game at a high level, because now they're focused on being the Bears quarterback. They're not focused on, oh, wow, they knocked me because I painted a fingernail, or, oh, wow, they knocked me because I saw my mom and cried, right? Like you're not focused on, hey, how are you going to answer when a GM says, why'd you see your mom and cry? It's like, I don't know. You saw your mom and cried once, right? Like to me, it's like there's so much stuff that you're like meaningless getting ready for. And now he's got a full offseason. So yes, I would tell you, I expect him to be better at it towards the end of the year, with the caveat of, if these Bears are making a hunt, man, I would optimize everything for let's win.
You mentioned the 23 personnel and just the classic power run out of the I formation. They did it late on the drive when they needed the first down. They ran the same grouping in the same way with Doug Kramer, who, by the way, is going to be on the Scores Afternoon show today, the guy they call the mini fridge. Matt Eberflus referred to that as God's play. Have you heard that term for the power run before?
Yeah, power's God's play. You ask our O-line coach at Jenkins Elite, and you know, on my second grade son's flag team, he said, I sure hope you got God's play in there. I hope you're running power. Like, yeah, listen, you know, we all know football's big in the South. You know, the Bible's big in the South. And listen, God does love football. That's why he lets it exist on Sunday, and he loves power more than anything. Okay. So to me, but what I will say, what I love about the Bears is it's not even 23 personnel, right? Like for the Bears, it's 13, right? Because they have 1 back, 3 tight ends, and they bring another big ugly in there, right? I like 6 linemen in the game, right? I'm like, you know, I'm half quarterback guy, half like you know, when I watch the Illini, I bring like 8 offensive linemen in. So to me, it's like, I thought they did such a darn good job with that and that personnel grouping. And, you know, those are the kind of plays too that you do it 2 or 3 times, and then guess what? You're playing the Packers in a meaningful divisional
This is what
game.
I mentioned this yesterday.
Yep.
This was my next question because I went back and looked at what Ditka did after he responded to Bill Walsh using Guy McIntyre in the backfield, and how the play that they first ran on Monday Night Football with William Perry as the fullback and running into George Cumbie, and then that became giving it to William Perry. Then that became the play action touchdown to William Perry off the pass in week 9, which then begat the option pass, the ill-fated option pass in the Super Bowl. So if I'm a defensive coordinator now, I'm thinking that, like, you know what, we gotta practice against this, and now we gotta be ready for either Doug Kramer's gonna catch one, or so if you are a defensive coordinator, what variations are you telling these guys to watch for this week?
Oh, they're going to leak the big guy in the flat. The big guy's going to the flat at some point, right? They're going to use him a ton to dig out the D end, and they're going to run right inside of it. And then he's going to, what we call bat the D end, right? Go up there, bat him, and then get to the flat. He's going to be wide open. And you can't do anything. Like, you could hope that your football instincts as, you know, your linebacker, you know, carries over to where, hey, he runs with him. But like when you're selling out to stop the run, it is just so darn hard to then turn around and go play. And that's why you see play action. It's so good and it's effective in the red zone. But you start with the run first. You got to be able to run downhill. You got to be, you know, we got to be able to get power downhill. The thing that and this is maybe where I think the Chicago offense goes. I think personnel groupings like that, right? Hey, you know, you got to be ready on 4th and short, or, you know, at the goal line, they can get into super heavy. Okay, well, hey, there's 30 minutes of practice time. Hey, every once in a while, you know, they get into true, what we would call OT 1, no backs, 1 tight end, 4 receivers. And guess what? DJ Moore's the tailback. Okay, hey, there's another 45 minutes. To me, as an offensive coordinator, what I believe you do with personnel groupings is you have like 6 really like high level variations of it, right? Not your typical 10, your 11, your 12, like those OT 1s, those super heavies. And why you do that is, hey, we have 2 or 3 plays we like out of it. But guess what? You're just wasting practice time. If I can force you to prepare for something that I spend 5 minutes on, but you spend 30, I've won, right? That's part of the marker war. So to me, it's like, that's what I would like to see this Bears team continue to get to. Obviously, you know, those stats came out today about who's used the, you know, least amount of pre-snap motion. And it's like, you know, unsurprising, but it's like the Broncos, the Bears, and the Commanders, right, are all like at the bottom 3, you know, they're the 3 of the last 5 or something. And I think those will kick up too, because I do think, Caleb, if you're smart enough to get in and out of the right play, I think we'll start to see more pre-snap, you know, motion and shifting from this Bears offense as well.
You brought up the Broncos and the Commanders, which just leads me beautifully into this next question. I've been kind of monitoring these starting rookie quarterbacks.
Yep.
What do you make of the starting rookie quarterbacks so far? Because obviously Caleb Williams is going to be compared to Bo Nix and Jaden Daniels and whoever else gets run as a rookie.
Yeah, what I'll tell you is I think it's not even close. I think Jaden Daniels has the most support. I think Lincoln Riley has basically said, Cliff Kingsbury has basically said, like, hey, we're going to run your offense and I'm going to, like, you know, call it in your language. You can see it in the film, like the amount of layups that they give him, you know, that's just straight off of what he did in college.
Is that healthy, you know, long-term?
No, right? Like this is the kind of offense, in my opinion, that I do think all of a sudden, like, you give an off season to, and it's completely different. With that being said, I'm assuming their plan isn't to then carry the, I mean, I would hope it's not, right? I think Cliff's better than that, but we'll see what happens. But I think he's gotten the most support. And then I think it's Caleb and Bo. The thing that's hard is it's like, you know, when you watch Caleb and I watch Bo Nix, they're both really getting asked to do some tough stuff. I do a bunch of stuff in Denver too. They're both getting asked to do tougher concepts. So it's hard because you see the production and then, you know, everybody, rightfully so, it's a production league, right? You sit there and you go, oh, Jaden Daniels killing everybody. But then you kind of dial it back and you go like, man, some of the throws that we're asking Caleb to make are in a different stratosphere. I think some of the stuff they're asking Bo to do in Denver, like, you know, I want to say the Bears, it's like 47% or something pre-snap movement. The Broncos was like 32%. So they're asking Bo to do it against like completely stagnant, which there's two schools of thought. Hey, you're stagnant on defense then. But to me, it's like the way they disguise it, throw that out the door. Like it's not 10 years ago anymore. So I don't know. I think both of those guys, I see really good signs for all three of them. I still think Caleb obviously is the most talented kid we're going to see. With that being said, right, like we've all seen it a million times, like talent only goes so far at this position in this league, which is crazy, right? You would always think like, hey, talent's going to win out. And just this is one of those positions that it's not gonna. But Caleb's, I just don't see anything on tape for me to write these guys off. And what's funny about that is they're arguably the least productive rookie class we've seen in a while. And I tell you that their tape is actually the most exciting that we've seen in a while.
Fascinating stuff as always, Tim. We appreciate it and look forward to talking next week.
I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much.